Hello friends, welcome back to my channel Mukesh English, and this video is for the revision for the examination. Friends, your examinations are approaching and this video will help you to prepare for the last moment study, and it is the last moment revision. It is not the in-depth preparation, right? It's a last moment revision. So we are discussing here the first semester BB and BHM general English syllabus from the point of view of the last year, from the point of view of the last moment revision. So the question paper will be for 80 marks, duration will be for 3 hours. I'll be quite very fast because friends, we are revising the whole syllabus, and in this video I'll give you the an overview of each and every chapter's summary. So that's going to help you to recall. So before that, let's know the format here. So section A consists 50 marks, and the section A has the weightage for 50 marks, which consists prose and poetry, or 8 lessons, and how the the questions will appear. You'll be having 2 marks, 5 questions, and 5 marks, 5 marks, 4 questions, not 2 questions, 4 questions, 5 marks, 4 questions, please correct it, and 10 marks, 2 questions. So which are the lessons you have in your syllabus? In Sahyadri Hills by Sudha Murthy, The Open Window by Saki, The Night Train at Deoli, The Sporting Spirit, Reunion, Who Can Be Called a Great Man, Phenomenal Woman, The Happy Man. So these are the eight lessons you have in the syllabus of first semester BBA BHM. In this video, as far as the revision is concerned, I'm going to give you the summary of each and every lesson. If you would like to go in detailed summary and the 2 marks questions, you can watch my videos. The links are in the description box or on the playlist. So without much delay, let's be rapid. So question lesson number 1, in Sahyadri Hills, a lesson in humility, written by Sudha Murthy. So this story is written by Sudha Murthy, which recounts her visit to a tribal village school in the dense forest of the Sahyadri Hills, Karnataka. Despite challenging weather and terrain, she embarks on this journey as a part of a charitable trust which would like to improve the school's condition. Upon arrival, Sudha Murthy encounters the simplicity and the unique culture of the tribals, particularly their respect for traditions. She observes the school, a very modest, thatched building with minimal facilities. She meets its caretaker, who is an unpaid elderly man whose grandson studies there. The villagers, including the Thandapa, the tribal head, they share their struggles, such as commuting difficulties and the lack of proper clothing during the rainy season. Sudha Murthy returns in winter season with the clothes and umbrellas for the children and discovers the keen interest in modern education, particularly computers. When she offers her gifts, the Thandapa insists on reciprocation and presents her with a bottle of wild fruit juice. Initially, hesitant Sudhamurti, she hesitates to accept it, but she learns a valuable lesson in humility and mutual respect when the Thandapa explains the principle. What's the principle? One must give when receiving and accept gifts graciously. This experience deeply humbles Sudhamurti, highlighting the dignity, self respect, and profound cultural values of the tribal community. So this is about lesson number 1. Lesson number 2, we are moving to next lesson, The Open Window, written by Saki. The Open Window, which is written by Saki, the Frampton Nuttall, he visits the countryside for a nerve cure. He carries a letter of introduction to Mrs. Sepleton, and he is greeted by her clever 15-year-old niece, Vera. To entertain him, Vera tells a very cooked up story about a tragedy in which Mrs. Sepleton's husband and brothers drowned in a bog for 3 years while out while they went for shooting. She says her aunt to keep the window open, hoping they will return one day. Soon from shooting, making Frampton very uneasy, suddenly the 3 men, along with the dog, they approached the house through the open window, just as how Vera had described to Frampton. Frampton got terrified, and he thinks that these 3 ghosts have come and he just runs away from the house in a panic situation. So, after his abrupt departure, Vera calmly fabricates one more story, telling her family that Frampton was afraid of dogs and due to a traumatic experience. So, Vera's art of storytelling and mischief, which adds a more humorous twist to the tale. So, this is about the story. Open window. Now, lesson number 3, The Night Train at Deoli by Ruskin Bond. In Ruskin Bond's Night Train at Deoli, a young college student travels to Dehra every summer and he passes through a small, quiet station called Deoli. One morning, he meets a barefoot girl selling baskets at the station. He is struck by her beauty and grace. They exchange a few words before the train departs. On his journey, he meets her again, and their brief connection gets deeper. The boy promises to return, but when he visits Deoli the next summer, the girl is nowhere to be found. He could not see her. Despite asking around, he learns nothing about her whereabouts. Over the years, he continues to pass through Deoli, always hoping to see her again, but he never does. He chooses not to stop at Deoli, fearing he might uncover an unpleasant truth about her life. Instead, he keeps the memory alive through his dreams and hopes, cherishing the mystery of the girl who once touched his heart. So that's a very brief intro about the night train at Devli. Watch my videos as far as the summary 2 marks questions are concerned. Links are in the description box. Lesson number 4, Sporting Spirit. It's an essay by George Orwell. In this essay, George Orwell argues that sports, especially at the international level, often creates hostility and ill will rather than promoting goodwill. Using the example of a recent football tour by the Soviet Dynamo team in Britain, he highlights how these matches led to fights, arguments, and controversies, worsening relationship between the nations. George Orwell believes that modern sports are highly competitive and tied to national pride, which brings out aggressive and hostile emotions. Spectators and nations, they see sports as a matter of prestige, making the games feel like war minus the shooting. This competitiveness leads to cheating, violence, and unhealthy rivalries. He traces the rise of serious sports to the 19th century when organized games became linked to nationalism and urban life. In rural settings, people had other ways to release energy, but in cities, organized sports became a way to channelize the physical and competitive impulses. So George Orwell concludes that international sports events often fuel tensions rather than easing them. He suggests avoiding such contests or downplaying their importance to prevent adding to the world's existing conflicts. Quite tough essay. Next lesson, Reunion by John Cheever. Very interesting story. John Cheever's Reunion tells the very poignant story of a young boy, Charlie, who would like to meet his estranged father in New York City for the first time in 3 years. They plan to have lunch during Charlie's brief layover at Grand Central Station. Charlie, who is eager to reconnect, initially struck by his father's charm and presence, imagining a bond and a very shared future. However, their time together becomes uncomfortable and disappointing as they move from one restaurant to other restaurant. Charlie's father behaves very rudely and arrogantly, insulting waiters, clapping for attention, and creating scenes that results in them being turned away repeatedly. Despite Charlie's quiet desire to spend quality time with his father's erratic and disrespectful behavior overshadows their reunion, and both of them they depart. As the short time together comes to an end, Charlie decides to leave to catch his train. His father expresses regret and affection, but his actions leave Charlie disillusioned. The story ends with Charlie leaving realizing this chaotic meeting would be final memory of his father. Lesson number 6, who can be called a great man? Very tough speech by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar explores the qualities that define a great man, comparing different perspectives. Military leaders like Alexander and Napoleon are often called great because of the conquest and the influence. However, the impact on society is usually very short lived. Philosophers and thinkers like Carlyle and Rosebery they suggest other qualities. Carlyle emphasizes sincerity, but he clarifies it must be genuine, not boastful or shallow. Rosebery, discussing Napoleon, highlights extraordinary intellect, energy, and genius. Philosophers suggest great men are those who can transform society and guide the society towards progress, acting as a forces for the social regeneration. Dr. Ambedkar believes sincerity and intellect are essential for greatness but not sufficient. While these qualities can make someone eminent, a truly great man must also have a deep commitment to a social purpose. He must work to cleanse and uplift society, distinguishing himself from merely notable individuals. Now, lesson number 7, interesting poem by Maya Angelou, Phenomenal Woman. So, Maya Angelou's poem Phenomenal Woman celebrates the confidence, strength, and beauty of women. The speaker, who doesn't conform to the traditional standards of beauty, explains that her allure and power come from her inner qualities, self assurance, and natural presence. She describes how her movements, her smile, her grace captivate others, particularly men, who are drawn to her inner mystery. Despite their curiosity, they cannot fully grasp her essence. She emphasizes that her strength lies in her confidence, pride, and the unique way she carries herself. The poem concludes with the speaker affirming her identity as a phenomenal woman, embracing her individuality, and inspiring others to recognize the same value within themselves. So it's very powerful ode to self-love and empowerment. Last lesson, The Happy Man, written by Edgar Albert Guest. This poem concludes with the speakers affirming her identity as a as a phenomenal woman. Yeah. Um, Albert, there's an error here. I'm sorry. There's an overlapping of the previous information. Edgar Albert Guest poem, Happy Man, highlighting. Please read from here. Please avoid this paragraph. Again, I have to read to the whole video. It's a continuous video without any break. Albert Guest poem, The Happy Man, highlights the strength and the joy that come from overcoming the challenges. This poem describes a truly happy person as someone who has faced and conquered tough times, emerging stronger and more appreciative of life. Through the struggle, they gain confidence in their abilities, learn to value their life's peaceful moments, find the joy in their each and every achievements. The poem celebrates the happiness which comes from overcoming or victory over the adversity, emphasize the growth and gratitude that the challenges bring. So, friends, this is how those 8 lessons, brief overview I have given. For more detailed, in-depth study, watch my video on the summary and the 2 marks questions videos are already done. Find the links in the description box. We are revising. It's a last moment preparation for the examination. Now we are moving to the section B, 30 marks questions from the grammar. Let us see how the questions pattern will be there. So very first question in the grammar section you'll be having here something like this. It's a brief overview, reading comprehension, listening skills, language functions, concord, tenses, phrases, clauses, and speech writing. Now one by one. Very first question from the grammar you'll be having here, comprehension passage. Read the passage, answer 5 questions based on it. Each questions have 1 mark weightage. Just find the keyword or one sentence, appropriate sentence. Don't write paragraphs together. Don't write lines together. Then Listening skills. Here, 1 mark, 5 questions will be asked. Now, how? They'll ask you what is the meaning of listening? What's the difference between listening and hearing? Which are the types of listening? They may ask you about each and every type's definition also, barriers to listening, examples of active listening, passive listening. So what you should do, how to prepare, you can watch my very special video on listening skill, and the link is available in the description box. If you watch that video on listening skill, definitely you'll get 5 out of 5. Just have a look in the description box on the listening skills video or in the playlist. Next question you have here, language functions. How? 1 mark question, you have to introduce either yourself or somebody. To 1 mark question, making an inquiry. 3 marks questions you'll be having here, giving instructions, right? How? For example, uh, introduce your sister Radha to your class teacher. How do you introduce? Good morning, ma'am. Meet my sister Radha. 1 mark questions. You are at a bank. You want to know how to open a demat account. How do you make an inquiry? You can say, "Good morning, sir. May I know how to open the bank account?" "Good morning, sir. May I know may I know where is the form to open the bank account?" It's an inquiry, just one line inquiry. Giving instructions, set of instructions. Example: how to withdraw money from ATM. Go to bank, right? Insert the ATM card, select the language, select the option like which account you have, enter the password. So like this, you need to give the instructions for 3 marks. So this is how these 5 marks questions from the unit language functions. Next, you have here correct form the verb, right? Correct form the verb, subject verb agreement. You have a topic called concord, subject verb agreement. Here, 3 questions will be given here. You need to fill up the blank. Or I'm sorry, 3 questions will be given here. You need to find the correct form of the verb. Look at this sentence. My guide and well-wisher are Geeta. It should be is, right? Have gone. It should be has gone. Each of the students plan. It should be plans. So this is called here correct form the verb. So you can watch my video on subject verb agreement concord to get more in-depth knowledge. So this was 3 marks. Then tenses. Tenses for 3 marks. Again, I have done video on tenses also. So you need to find out the appropriate form of the verb, which is given in the bracket. And this is how you need to attempt this question. Then you have here phrases. You need to identify the phrases here. Uh, like which phrase in the sentence you have here? Is it a noun phrase sentence or a verb phrase sentence? So it's a the woman in the middle row is my mother. So the woman in the middle row is the noun phrase. Here you need to find out your verb phrase. The master has been observing. So ing form will always the. I'm sorry, just a minute. Sorry. So verb phrase, ing form will be the verb phrase. 2 marks question. So you can watch my video even on phrase and the clause also. Then find the dependent and independent clause. 2 marks question. So if you go through this question, whenever my uncle comes here, right? This is not a complete sentence. So this is called here independent clause. He always gives me chocolate. This part is a complete sentence. So this is how you need to write the answer. So these questions I have taken from your model question paper. So even I have done a video on the model question paper also. You can watch the complete solution of the model question paper. Then last question you have here, speech writing. You have to write the speech, either welcome speech, farewell speech, or the introducing the chief guest. So you can watch my special video on speech writing. The link is available in the description box. This is for the 5 marks. So now let's have an overview once again of the complete syllabus. I'm sorry. 2 marks, 5 questions. 5 marks, 4 questions. 10 marks, 2 questions from the 8 lessons. Grammar, comprehension passage, 5 marks, right? Then language functions, introducing somebody, 1 mark. Inquiry, 1 mark. Instruction, 3 marks. Okay. Then correct form of the verb, concord, subject verb agreement, 3 marks. 3 marks, tenses and phrases, verb phrase, noun phrase, 2 marks. Dependent, independent clause, 2 marks. Writing speech for 5 marks. So, dear first semester BBA BHM student, this is how I have tried to give you a last moment preparation for the examination. Hope this video will definitely help you to recall whatever you have studied, right? For more in-depth study, I will suggest you to watch my videos on summary, 2 marks questions, grammar components, listening skill, speech writing, clauses, phrases. All the videos links are available in the description box. So friends, we wish you very good luck for the examination. Stay in tune with Mukesh English. Thank you so much for watching the video. After the examination, write your feedback, write your experience. How was it? Was my video really helpful in the examination? Go back and write in the comment box. Thank you once again. Very, very good luck.